Always look the person in the eye when you're shaking their hand, they say. They say a lot of things. Another thing they say is never make a documentary about the Arab-Israeli conflict. However you make it, people from all sides will say it's biased. Well, we made one. It's fine, we thought. It's about music. But the situation here seeps into every part of daily life. We're here to take the temperature of the rap scene in what is perhaps a surprisingly diverse piece of land. Arabs, Jews, Christians, and none of the above. This is hip-hop in the Holy Land.
Yeah, boy. Yeah. Yeah, boy. Yeah. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go hard. Israel, we go.
Lod is an unremarkable small town close to Israel's main airport. To be honest, it's mainly known for crime and drug problems. The town's large Arabic-speaking community call it Lid. From this town sprung the first ever Palestinian hip-hop group, DAM, aka the Arabian MCs, led by their firebrand mouthpiece, Tamer Nafar, who you might know from this photo that went viral recently. He should know about the Palestinian rap scene, as he pretty much invented it. Nice to meet you, man.
All of my childhood was here and I don't fucking miss it. Now Palestinian hip-hop is all over the world and this is where it started, so I gotta appreciate it.
مين إرهابي؟ أنا إرهابي كيف إرهابي وأنا عايش ببلادي؟ مين إرهابي؟ أنت إرهابي ماكلني وأنا عايش ببلادي.
Before you, were there rappers that you wanted to emulate?
In Arabic at all? No. I started in English because that's what I heard. Immediately when I grabbed the pen, all I had in my mind is English rhymes. Then I heard that a lot of Israelis are doing it in Hebrew. It sounded bullshit to me, but when I went there and I heard them, it sounded like tight on the beat. It sounded right. Suddenly I had a reference in Hebrew, so I started writing in Hebrew. And then I needed a reference to do it in Arabic, but there was no reference in Arabic. So I had to sit in this room. But you know how many songs I threw to the garbage because the flow didn't sound right, the metaphors didn't sound right, the language didn't. It sounded like it's subtitled. And it just took me a while till I grabbed that one song and I felt that that was the song and I went out with it.
حلمك انقل فوق معنا آلية حلمك لآلية تصير بالمقابر أخطرية ديمقراطية والله انكم ناسية من كثر ما اغتصبتوا النفس العربية.
In a way, when you go to the studio, you cannot cancel your geography. And my geography is here. I'm a Palestinian living in Israel, carrying the Israeli ID. So I cannot cancel the Jewish culture around me. I'm influenced by it in a way, for good or for bad. I have my accent, I have the slangs that my neighborhood created. Even the way we shake hands, even the way we kiss, even the way we hug, even the way we laugh, the way we fight. This is here. So when I rap, it's gonna be out, plus the influence from the Americans, so that's the whole product. Many times the cops used to come and search the block. Lid, the city, used to be the biggest drug market in the Middle East.
Okay.
So I'm not talking about weed.
What are you talking about?
Coke, crystal, but not the crystal meth of...
Breaking Bad.
Not Eisenberg, no. If I used to have an interview with the Time magazine or Rolling Stone, so they used to send it and put it here. So the cops used to come, they searched the building and they didn't find anything. They used to their fucking sticks and just go home.
Yeah.
And because, fuck those people, fuck those ignorant people. And I'm like, dude, I have an article about me in the fucking Rolling Stone, so fuck you.
I mean, outside of this area, Tel Aviv is really quite bohemian, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bubble. And it's 15 minutes from me. They don't know nothing about what is happening 15 minutes away from them. For people who pay taxes like them. Vote like them in a way. And we say it in our songs that Israel is a democracy. It's a democracy for Jews, but it is not democratic for Arabs.
Yeah.
And it's a democracy for Jews, but it's a Zionist for Arabs.
זו יונת צייד, הטרף הוא עוד בית של יונה המנסה לשרוד תחת שלטון העית. בוא נעשה משהו אופטימי יותר, הרי כל יום אני מתעורר, רואה איזה 1000 שוטר, אולי הם באו לעצור סוחר, הוא פה או לא, הם באו להרוס את הבית שלה, שכן שלו, מה קורה פה? בוא הצנעה סובבת את הגטו.
So often rap music is born on the fringes of society. It's the voice of the repressed and the marginalized. It originated here in the United States and it has caught on as a means of protest across the world.
You know, the CNN thing that you did, I thought it was interesting that the woman that came after you, since she said, well, actually, even though they're saying all kinds of stuff, that you're using it as a platform to communicate.
Rather than being violent, you mean?
Yeah.
The most important thing about them is they reflect the attempt to create a different way of expressing your anger. They're not using Molotov cocktails. They're not donning suicide vests. They're using music.
I still don't like that. I'll tell you why. They come and so you chose a peaceful artistic platform over violence. And I don't think it's fair towards, for example, the people in Gaza, for example, where they are more violent, let's say, yeah? Do you know how many rappers in Gaza cannot go to the studio because they are under siege, for example?
Yeah.
So what the fuck would you tell them? So I think it's an arrogant question, like I was a better person to choose. No, I had the choice.
I'd listened to a bunch of Damn tracks before I came out here, and whilst many of them are hard-hitting, there was one that really stood out. Despite being musically quite laid back, it felt problematic to me.
I fell in love with a Jew. Is it sarcasm? What was it?
The song Mama, I Fell in Love with the Jew wasn't that provocative in my society.
That doesn't mean it isn't for us.
It's a sarcastic song. It's a made-up story. Because everyone's talking about how come the Jews and the Arabs don't get along, they should coexist. And the whole message of the song is we cannot coexist unless when one side is existing. The Palestinians, they don't exist. We don't have our country yet, we don't have our land, we don't have our apology, we don't have this, we don't have this. So we don't exist. So it's like asking us to coexist when we don't exist. So that's the song. In the elevator, she was going up and I was going down. Even when you talk about the working class and the money part and the neighborhoods, they are up, we are down. The whole thing with getting stuck in the elevator is, come on man, we are stuck together here, Jews and Arabs. We can keep shaking and fighting or we can solve it. Let's solve it, so that's where we fall in love together.
I had to make a move soon, looks better on you. The green don't suit you. She was cool, she made a move too. She said without the sniper lens, you look cute too.
There's different kinds of Palestinians, there's different kind of Jews, right? There's Jews that support your cause, that come to your shows.
They are
right?
really a minority, man.
Okay.
And with the last operation on Gaza, it's like, wow, they are less than I thought.
שלטון הימין בסכנה. המצביעים הערבים מגיעים בכמויות אדירות לקלפי. עמותות השמאל מביאות אותם באוטובוסים.
If Netanyahu reached the point where he talks to the people and he says, hurry up, Arab people are voting, and people don't judge him here, if you have the confidence to say these things, then you know that you're allowed to say these things.
So is it different from when you were 15, 16? Is it different now for these kids?
Yeah, it's getting worse. You have the last operation on Gaza. You have 2,000 people died. More than 80% of them are civilians. And you have Hamas killing people from this side, and most of them are soldiers. And the people still pointing, and people still think that Israel is defending itself. We are talking about the days where while we talk, you have settlements being built, and Palestinians are being kicked out, and the people still think that Israel is defending itself. Today, I'm in an important festival that I was one of its producers. It's called Stop the Demolitions in Dahmash. Assalamu alaikum, Dahmash!
Whilst we were there was a festival that Tamer had organised in solidarity with a nearby village called Damash that had been threatened with demolition. He performed alongside various Jewish and Arab MCs, and it was clearly a subject that he was extremely passionate about.
Officially, it's in Israel. You know how many Palestinians in Israel that was here, born here before Israel, and now they are living in an unrecognized village. And when I talk about unrecognized village, I'm talking there is no electricity, there is no water, and they were here before Israel, and Israel says they don't have the right to exist. Yes, the Jews were hunted all around the world, man. Especially in Europe. And that's the funny thing. When we talk about Palestine and Israel, and I say something like, my grandfather was kicked out of his house from Jaffa. I was like, yeah, my father was kicked out of Poland. I was like, yeah, by the Nazis, not by me. The Jews were here 2,000 ago, Muslims were here 3,000 ago. You know what? I'm about to forget all of that. I want to see today what is happening today. For example, Dahmash. What is happening in Dahmash is wrong. When I see kids being thrown to the streets and more than 300 houses were demolished because they built a house without a permit. Do you want me to show you how many Jewish neighborhoods were built without permits? But they still let them grow up, but none, even one Arabic village got permit. So it's systematic. I don't think that the world should wait 60 years from now and start say Israel was racist while they are seeing it now.
You're a rapper, like more than any other rap culture around the world, you have a responsibility to communicate the truth. It's about people seeing what's happening and then changing the opinion. And I think that you should be proud and determined, because really the battle is to do with showing people.
Look, with the same passion and anger that I talk about, for example, women's rights in my society, I also talk about what is happening to Palestinian people by the Israeli occupation. If I have that sharp sense of not finding justice to Palestinians, not finding justice for Jews, but finding justice, period, I think that, yes, gives me the right to talk about things from a human aspect. And that's what we do.
The feeling back in the UK right now is that musicians are too scared to express forthright political opinions. That's clearly not the case over here. And whilst Tamer speaks with great conviction and from deep personal experience, it's important to remember that his is just one voice of many in this complex melting pot.
That's a sexy one.
That's sexy, yeah.
Thanks, man. Exactly a month ago, I was standing on a stage talking about the 16 houses they are going to demolish in Dahmash. Unfortunately, a month ago now I'm standing on the remains of 3 to 5 houses, the only democracy in the Middle East. Hope we stay strong. Salam, Dahmash.
Everything in this world is made for a good purpose. It's just how you use it. I used to go to hip-hop to look for morals, but I don't anymore. Because I draw that from sources which are way higher. My intention is to bring that into hip-hop. It's helping holiness.